Hello everybody, welcome back to the one and only Ruby. We're going to be starting today on page 12. The chapter title for page 12 is Good Advice. When your tusks start growing at around age 2, it hurts, like the world's biggest toothache. When my tusks first poked out, my 5 aunts had plenty of advice for me. Aunt Masiska said, rub the sore spots on a mossy log and count to 53. Aunt Layla said, put your head under ice-cold water and blow teeny tiny bubbles. Aunt Elodie said, eat a sour apple with at least 2 worms in it. Aunt Xenia said, take a nap in the sun, but whatever you do, be sure not to snore. Then there was Aunt Achillea's advice. She just looked at me and said, don't think about it. You try having 2 giant pointy teeth pop out of your face and see how long you stop thinking about it. And here's the illustration that goes along with Aunt Elodie's advice. And if you remember last time, we found out Ruby's secret. And her secret is she's not excited about her tusks. And she doesn't like being called tusky. And she doesn't want to celebrate getting tusks. Lucky. I love my aunts lots, even though sometimes they can be bossy or grumpy or full of weird advice. Lucky for me, I also have 2 uncles. My Uncle Ivan is a gorilla. My Uncle Bob is a dog. Families can be complicated. So here on page 14, we see where our author, Katherine Applegate, is making connections to the books that came before these. And we call those prequels. And if you think about that prefix, P-R-E, it means before. So that means these are the stories that came before. So in those stories before, we met Ivan the gorilla and Bob the dog, who she calls her uncles. All right, another complication. When I was a baby, I had a mom too. I guess that's true of most babies. I don't have her anymore. I haven't had much luck when it comes to moms. The best. I don't know where I would be right now without Uncle Ivan and Uncle Bob. These 2 guys and my Aunt Stella, an old elephant, changed my life forever, especially Aunt Stella, who loved me most when I needed to be loved. If you remember, Aunt Stella was in our book, The One and Only Ivan, and she was the mama figure to Ruby when she first came to the mall zoo. The 4 of us met a long time ago at a place called the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. Aunt Stella and I shared a cage. So did Uncle Ivan and Uncle Bob. Even though Uncle Bob could come and go as he pleased, he slept every night on Uncle Ivan's big, warm tummy. If anyone ever asks you if you'd like to live in a cage in a shopping mall, the answer is no. Lost. While we were at the mall, we lost Aunt Stella. Ivan prefers to say that she passed on. Uncle Bob just says she died. But I always say we lost her because that's how it feels. Like if I look long enough, I'll find her again. I miss her so much. Sometimes it hurts like 1,000 new tusks all at once. So once you see here that Katherine Applegate used some synonyms, which we know are words that mean the same thing. So to describe Aunt Stella being gone, she used the words lost, passed on, and died. And all of those mean the same thing, that Aunt Stella is not alive anymore. The park. We don't live at the mall anymore. Where Uncle Ivan and I live now has a long name, Wild World Zoological Park and Sanctuary, but everybody just calls it the park, because otherwise there are way too many words. I live in Elephant Odyssey. Uncle Ivan lives in Gorilla World. We are next door neighbors. After that come other animal lands. They are separated with fences and walls and ponds and pathways. That way nobody eats anybody. Uncle Bob lives nearby in a house a few blocks from here. He shares it with our friend Julia and her parents and Bob's sister Boss and his nephew Rowdy. Also 2 guinea pigs named Minnie and Moo. Before the park, I lived at the shopping mall, but I was born in Africa. I've had many homes. I've had many names. Uncle Ivan likes to say that for a little elephant, I am very well traveled. Then Uncle Bob says, good thing you always have your trunk, Ruby. Uncle Bob is a funny guy. And so here we see where Katherine Applegate has used a homonym because trunk can mean the body part of the elephant, but it can also be a synonym for suitcase. So when Uncle Ivan says, you are well traveled, he means that she's been lots of places. And then Uncle Bob makes the joke, good thing you always have your trunk, Ruby. And he's referring to a suitcase. So he's making a homonym of her trunk that she always has with her. Aunt Akilo. Aunt Akilo joins me at the not very good for hiding tree. She is wearing her disappointed face. She has lovely complicated wrinkles near her eyes. Ruby, she says, I know you don't want to practice for your test day, but it's important, dear one. Aunt Akilo is bigger than my other aunts and older too. Her skin is rigid like the bark of an ancient oak. Here and there her ears are notched and her right tusk has a chip in it. When she speaks it sounds like the noise my feet make when I walk on sand, low and swooshy. Aunt Akila's voice gets even softer when she is not happy with you. Somehow that makes her even scarier, which is a pretty neat trick if you think about it. I sometimes wonder how she got the big chip in her tusk, but I don't want to ask her in case it's not a nice story. I know plenty of not nice stories already. I really don't need to practice for my tusk day, I say. I kick the tree trunk with my right foot front gently because trees are like quiet friends and you have to be kind to them. Have you planned what you're going to say? Aunt Akilo asks. I'm growing up, which is a big deal, and I need to be responsible and all that stuff, and yay, I have tusks. I don't look at her because I feel a lecture coming on, the way the air gets fizzy when the storm is coming. She sighs low and song, She sighs long and slow. Like I said, Aunt Akila sighs a lot. Have you learned the creed of the herd? An elephant alone is not an elephant, I say, but I don't understand what that means, and just in case you're wondering, I think this whole thing is kind of silly. Another sigh from Aunt Akilo. Don't think too hard about the words, she says. Just feel them. But words aren't for feeling, I said. Words are for hearing and saying, and maybe singing. Also yelling and whispering and, Ruby, Aunt Akilo interrupts me. Enough, dear. Sorry, Aunt Akilo, I say. My words hang in the air like tired butterflies. I'm waiting for Aunt Akilo to remind me about not okay behavior, but after a while she lifts her head and points toward the hill where the gorillas live. I see Ivan and Bob up there, she says. Why don't you go and spend some time with them? That's enough for today, Tusky. I decide to ignore the Tusky just this once. Then I'll wait some more in case there's a catch, but she gives me a trunk nudge and even smiles a little. Elephants' smile are all in their eyes. The way birds' smiles are all in their songs. Tell them I said hello, says Aunt Akilo. I will, I promise, and thank you so much, Aunt Akilo. I say extra fast, and I'm already running toward the place where I feel safest, where the ones I love are waiting for me, and no one cares about my tusks. All right, on page 22, they talk about the creed of the herd. And if you remember last time, that was in the glossary that was at the front of the book. And it says an elephant alone is not an elephant. So I want you to think about that. And if you have some good thoughts about that, I would love for you to put it in the comment section. Okay, that's it for today. I will see you next time. Bye.